with a story for Quattro Minuti con Casanova. What great timing, we just had a boat go by. So today I have behind me the Ponte del Diavolo, which is on the Rio de San Osmarin. And this is kind of you can see a pretty busy street, or maybe you can't see, but you know, it's the pandemic, and so all the restaurants have moved their tables outside, and there's just tables all along the side of the canal here. Quite a nice place to be. I'm in the Castello district, so to the east of Piazza San Marco. And Casanova writes about this place, and we know he visited this street twice to visit the Countess Seguro, or her husband. So I'll tell you those two stories now. The first one happened in connection with Casanova's affair with M.M., the woman that we believe was Marina Morosini. She was the nun out on Murano that he was having an affair with. But before he actually began that affair, you know, this is complicated, right? She was a cloistered woman living the life of a nun, and he was actually in love with CC, Caterina Capretta, another young woman who was cloistered there, and Marina and Caterina knew each other. It gets very complicated. I tell all of this in my book and also in other episodes. But anyways, when Casanova was at the convent on Murano to see CC, he was spied upon by M.M. And M.M. was very interested. Who is this handsome young man dressed to the nines on his knees praying in church? And so M.M. put the word out and said, you know, who is this guy? How do I meet him? And she actually was quite bold, and she sent a message to Casanova and said, look, I'm interested in you, but first I would like you to meet my friend, the Countess Seguro, and she will bring you with her to the convent because she's a woman, she's allowed to visit me. You can get a look at me and see if you want to commence a relationship. This is quite a story, isn't it? And so Casanova came here. We don't know exactly which house it was. Maybe that's somewhere in the archives, and so far I don't believe anyone has found the exact house number or location, but somewhere along this street. And so anyways, Casanova came here, got in the very commodious gondola of the Countess, and on the way out to Murano, apparently they didn't say very much to each other. It was sort of on this almost professional level. But Casanova says of the Countess, quote, she was a domineering woman, beginning to fade a little, but still beautiful. And so he, you know, sort of admired her and paid respect to her. They got to the convent. Casanova then sort of stepped aside, let the two women visit. There was actually a way to sort of open up the private grid that kept the women cloistered, and so the two women were able to talk. Casanova saw M.M. and said, yes, I would like a relationship. And so that was really the beginning of that. And then the story goes on from there, and it's wonderful. Much of, I think it's volume 4, if I remember correctly, is about that relationship. The second story, though, is a bit later, when Casanova was living at the house of the widow Pozzo in kind of up near the church of Santi Giovanni Paolo, and the widow's young daughter, I think Anne was her name, Casanova had a friend who was her doctor, and so Casanova befriended the young woman and also actually gave her dancing lessons, which was to help circulate her blood and help her become healthier, and it apparently worked. So Casanova came with that young woman, Anne, to the Countess Seguro's house because it turned out Anne's godfather was the Countess's husband. And so we know that Casanova also came here on that occasion. The Countess was home at that time and recognized Casanova, and her husband said, well, wait, where did you meet this guy? And she quickly said, oh, we met in Mira last year. which wasn't true, but everyone sort of used that story and it went along smoothly. So anyways, 2 stories today, so I think I went over my Quattro Minuti con Casanova, but thank you for listening. Hope you're enjoying the wonderful reflections on that bridge out here on at the Ponte del Diavolo. Thank you.